Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager with GDM. Today's outlook, firstly we're going to start briefly with the Chinese mainland markets. They rose on Wednesday, shrugging off a decision by stock index provider MSCI on Tuesday to delay, of course, the inclusion of mainland-traded Chinese A shares in its key emerging market index. Also, we're looking at most of the other Asian markets, which also reversed losses in the morning, of course, despite continuing jitters over the possibility that the UK may opt to exit the European Union, as well as, of course, the concerns over the outcome of the Federal Reserve meeting, which is due later in the day. The Bank of Japan's meeting is ending on Thursday, which is also a highly watched event. The Shanghai Composite Index and the Shenzhen Composite each erased opening losses of more than 1%, trading up about 1.53% and up about 3% respectively. The Nikkei 225 Index in Japan is also up about 0.4%, with the yen giving back a bit of the ground against the dollar as a bounce by recently battered Tokyo stocks slightly improved investors' appetite for the time being. Looking at the dollar, which edged slightly higher, about 0.2% to 106.26 yen, having bounced from an overnight low of 105.63, thanks to the Tuesday's upbeat May U.S. retail sales data. And of course, that was a drop below 105.55, which is a very strong resistance. We may see the greenback to its lowest level since October 2014. In Europe, the market started the day on a steadier footing on Wednesday ahead of the conclusion of the U.S. Federal Open Market Committee's policy meeting, which, as we know, began yesterday. Speculations, however, among investors are for the bank to stand pat on interest rates following gloomy job data and, of course, raising concerns over a Brexit that should the UK vote to leave the European Union in the following referendum on June 23rd. The euro, we're looking at slight losses against the dollar on Wednesday as the German government bond yields turned slightly negative for the first time due to worries that Britain might vote next week to leave the European Union. Well, of course, we're looking at investors that are staying cautious on a flat market ahead of the Federal Reserve's policy decision later in the global day. The euro, as a shared currency, was flat at 1.1209 after sliding 0.8% overnight to an 11-day low of 1.1189 in a slide that took it from a one-month high of 1.1416 scaled last week. The likelihood of the Fed hiking interest rates will be very, very low at the moment while Brexit worries dominate action in the financial markets. That said, we're looking at the FOMC meeting, which will still receive attention as it will give the market a chance to gauge the Fed's stance on rate hike at the July meeting and, of course, further on beyond. Sterling was steady at 1.4120 after recovering from slightly from 2-month low of 1.4091, which was plummeted Tuesday on a Brexit fears. Gold in the commodity sector dipped slightly on Wednesday after touching a near 6-week high in the previous session as the markets awaited the U.S. Federal Reserve's policy meeting and, of course, on concerns one more time over the potential Brexit from the European Union. Gold was down about 0.2% to 1282.91 an ounce in late Asian trade as it touched a session peak of 1289.80 on Tuesday. That was its highest since May 6. Also tracking the holdings of the SPDR Gold Trust, the world's largest gold-backed exchange-traded fund, which are up about 22.27% to 898.67 tons, which was on Tuesday its highest since October 2013. Crude futures in the energy sector fell in Asian trade on Wednesday as mounting concerns about Britain's possible exit from the European Union and surprise build in U.S. inventories drive the crude futures to a 3-week low of 47.55 a barrel as the contract dropped for a 5th day. It was trading down 77 cents at 47.72 a barrel throughout the Asian session. Also looking at the most important in the calendar today, a report from the FOMC's projections for inflation and, of course, global economic overview for the next 2 years, and of course the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision. That is all due later today. Take a look at the calendar one more time. Stay tuned. See you next time. Bye-bye.